Yeah, I was particularly struck during that conversation that we had a year ago about the use of the phrase liberal democracy, and of course both of those words are loaded terms depending on what you mean by those things. But as you guys talked about it, I realized that for conservatives and sort of small government libertarianish types, they might use a different phrase that in a lot of ways means the same thing, constitutional republicanism, because it's liberal democracy, but a key part of that is the rule of law.
Yeah. Well, I've really thought about the phrase liberal democracy, and I do recognize that in the current environment, it's not maybe the best phrase, but it's really about classical liberalism. And by that, I mean having free and fair elections, but also the core principles that animate a democracy: freedom of expression, freedom of speech, freedom of association, the rule of law. These are really the core organizing principles of the way we think at Freedom House. Yeah. And where it comes together, and we can move to this if you like, is the thing that we're probably best known for. We do a number of things. We support human rights activists overseas in many different ways. We advocate for policies that support human rights and these core principles before the Congress and other forum. But we have an annual survey called Freedom in the World, which is kind of our brand, if you will. And
I just broke the first rule of podcasting. And it's actually Logan's fault that he didn't tell me to turn my phone off. Sorry about that.
I turned my phone off without Logan telling me. But we have this report that we've been doing every year since 1973, in which we rank every country in the world, more than 200, according to these core principles.
Yeah. And I just had a couple of weeks ago LaDon Boramond, who you just told me you've done some work with, and she's what I would call a human rights activist from Iran. She would call herself a social democrat, and we mostly agreed on the really big things that matter right now in terms of human rights abuses and suppression of speech and opposition in Iran. And I said, eventually, when we fix all those problems, let's have a nice argument about how big the government should be and how involved it should be in all of the things that we might disagree on. But I just read the report, and I love the title this year. As a former community organizer myself, the title this year, and by the way, this is subversively libertarian title, so you guys better watch out. A leaderless struggle for democracy. And this is the 2020 Freedom in the World ranking.